this thing to the cloud. And we are, hold up. Where's the magic in this? Give me a second. It's almost there. Oh man, I'm excited, bro. This is gonna be awesome.
I'm stoked.
All right, I think we're live. Let me double check. Just in case, I'm gonna go ahead and go into the group just to make sure that this thing's streaming into the damn group. Where's that? Oh, yeah, we're live. We're good to go. Let's rock and roll. All right, guys. So just wanted to make another introduction, man. I've been hanging out with this man for quite some time. Today, what we're going to be talking about is Propstream and some of the new updates that have recently been like slid into the platform on some ninja style stuff. All right. They haven't even announced any of this yet. If you're in this Facebook group, Wholesaling Houses Ground Zero, then you guys are going to get the secret sauce up front, directly brought to you guys from my good friend Burton. Burton, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself? I have like probably 7,000 new members, bro, since the last time you've been in this group. So introduce yourself to the world, man.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Burton. I'm just your go-to guy when it comes to Propstream, but I'm here to kind of expose you guys on the new updates that we just released subtly in the system, and I hope that it's going to help you guys enhance your real estate business, maybe potentially find some new leads out there. So thanks, Q, for having me, man.
Of course, bro. It's always a pleasure, man. The last time we did a video like this, I actually got a lead in Florida and closed on it live. That video will be uploaded to my YouTube channel a little bit later for all you other cool cats that are wanting to get that secret sauce on how I was able to narrow down those lists so that we could make some stuff happen. But yeah, man, let's get it. Go ahead, bro. Let's get it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get my screen over. So some of the new features that we just added literally 2 days ago is the Google Maps system. So we were rocking Bing Maps for a while. Obviously, when you're doing data at a nationwide level and you're going to get nationwide images, especially from Google, it isn't cheap. But we finally did it. Here's the Google Maps system. So you're going to have more up to date. But some cool things that you can do is now go from satellite to map view. If you want to go back to the original view, you can, but we're now going to default you to satellite view. Another key component is when you're zooming in on a market, as you keep zooming in, you'll see now it automatically sets to bird's eye view. And if you keep going, another thing that you can do is just like you would with Google Maps, you're going to have your little guy over here. So as you pick them up, you're going to see that the streets are going to turn blue. Now, anything blue means these are areas where you can drop them and get street level. Now, that's important because what we're going to also do is when you're searching specific properties, you'll have that ability. And what we're going to do is we're going to be implementing some new technology so that as you get to ground level, not only will the map tilt and put the pins on there, but in near future, we're going to be able to do some amazing stuff with those pins. As you can see, we're starting to do it now. You can see pins where they are using geodata. So in the near future, these are things that you're going to be able to, like I'm doing now, click on, and we're going to allow you to do more and more things with it. So look out for that. But if you want to do it now, I mean, go down the street, and if you see a pin, go ahead and click on it, and you'll get that properties details, and then you can add it. And now with Google Maps, these images are, again, you can see here, 2020 images. So bro, huge difference there.
Near future, when you say near future, how far out are we looking on this?
I don't want to give an exact time frame because when it comes to coding, I like to say it's like trying to put a domino piece in an already existing domino puzzle, right? You screw one line of code and this whole thing just goes south, right? So we're constantly working on it right now, but yeah, we have some really cool features. As you can see right now, for those that aren't understanding what I'm talking about, we're talking about actually virtual driving for dollars. As you go down the street, you'll be able to click on pins, and those are the particular properties that we're clicking on and go from there. So look out for that. But that's just one update that we recently just implemented into the system. Now, did you have any questions on that before I go to the next update and blow everybody's mind?
Dude, that was fire already. Dude, I don't even know what you guys are working on over there, but that's insane, dude.
I
Okay,
appreciate that. So the next major update is because
real
we're
fast, Burton, I have a question. This is all part of Google Maps, and you guys added this to that platform, I'm guessing, or
yeah.
what?
Well, no, no. So the images are Google Maps, like with
Oh,
the
got it.
ability to get the satellite view, the map view, and being able to see the terrain. That's all Google. But to be able to put the pins on the map, and then to be able to go ground level, and then to be able to see the same pins in the right area when I'm looking at these properties, that's all us, because we have to take our tax, our parcel data and Google Maps and line them up correctly. Plus, when you click on a link, we need to then click on that, take that parcel that you just clicked on or that tab you clicked on and connect it to the subject property that you're clicking on. So that is all us. It's using Google Images, but our developer is actually laying their lines of codes on top of that image. Okay. So let's go on to the next update here. So the next major update is we're always striving to get you guys new leads. So one of the things that we do aggressively is we study the data. We play with the data. But as we study the data, we're able to identify things that have been overlooked for a while. And so the more and more we started studying the data, the more and more we realized you can start playing with things. Like in our last video, we talked about our flippers list. And this list only exists in Propstream because this is a list that takes MLS data and county records to isolate property owners that have owned a property for less than 2 years and they're back on the market to be sold, right? And that's using multiple sources to come up with that category. Well, we've done it again, right? Not only did we take MLS data and county records to find you the flippers, people like Q who buy properties, rehab them, and then put them on the market within 2 years, but we've also been able to use multiple data to now give you the senior owners. So we've been able to figure out a secret sauce that allows us to isolate properties that have a very high probability of the owner being a senior citizen. Now, right off the bat here in Las Vegas, we already have 38,000 properties that are owned by senior citizens. Now, just like with any other list, vacant and pre-foreclosures and high equity, you always want to add your own filters to it, right? So don't just stop there unless you want to. If you have the budget to market at 38,000 properties, have at it. But some of the best practices, as usual, make sure they're off market. Make sure, it's either individually owned or corporate owned, your choice there. Now, most of this will be individually owned, so it doesn't change much. But then equity, right? If you're looking to wholesale the property, apply your equity in there. Now, if you're doing sub twos or some sort of creator seller financing, perfectly fine. We can use the loan to value ratio instead, right? Find me someone with a 90% loan to value ratio. It's a senior owner. They've obviously lived there for many, many years. And so now we can, these are your 687 sub two lease options, creative seller financing candidates. But the senior owner is a great list because we're already dealing with someone in the later parts of their life, right? And to add more to it, Q, we're talking about this earlier. We have so many filters that you can build more problems. Like one of the problems is, being a senior citizen and still having a mortgage on your property, right? And here's a situation that is dire. You're a senior owner, you're currently off market, your loan to value ratio is still at 90% or more, and you have a mortgage on your property. So definitely some sub twos, lease option, creative seller finding candidates. Again, if you're wholesaling and you want to deal with senior owners, don't use the loan to value ratio, just switch it up and use the equity filter, right? Do 50%, 60%, the higher the better. In this case, we're able to find that many senior owners with a mortgage, but yet they still have 50% or more in equity. So that's one of our latest filters that we just released, the senior owners.
Bro, that is the most as if you couldn't create an insane criteria. That's next level right there. And for all my people that are watching this right now, man, I want to see y'all drop value in the comments because Burton's bringing the heat with the new updates that are with Propstream, man. Look, yesterday when he told me that list, I had to get that list. I downloaded a little over 7,000 records that are under that category because we highly target highly target subject to properties for our portfolio. So guys, definitely utilize that. That right there should be one of your go-to lists that you get from Propstream. And Burton just gave you the keys to that kingdom right there. So, bro, one of the things that you showed me yesterday was something that I didn't even know. I guess it had been there maybe like for a few weeks, but it was the veterans thing. Do you mind showcasing that for us?
Yeah, definitely. So we have actually started again expanding our database. And one of the other filters that we just included is the ability to go into the ownership info and look for a tax exemption status, right? Because when you buy a property based on who you are or what you've done for the country, if you've served, you bought the property using a VA loan, you're at a certain age, you're going to get a certain tax exemption. And that's what we're able to now locate. You can now go into a market and look for properties that are tax exemption status because it's a cemetery or someone disabled lives there, or just like anybody, an average person, it's a homestead property, or it's a hospital or a library. In this case, it could be a veteran. So as you're applying, and again, we're expanding this a little bit more, so just bear with us, but these are things that you're going to be able to isolate within markets throughout the United States. And again, it's all a matter of being able to isolate a certain type of individual, but you have to understand that don't stop there. Once you choose a certain tax exemption, like if it's school and you find your results, make sure to continuously add your criteria, right? It needs to be off market. It needs to have equity if you're doing certain strategies. But ownership info, and we just included the tax exemption status, and this is going to be expanded in the next few days. So keep looking for more. As a matter of fact, if you're in PropStream now, search it every single day because new results are going to keep coming. We just pretty much opened the floodgates. So you're going to see this list just heavily expand in the next few months.
And why would you want to go after exemptions? If you don't mind kind of throwing that out there, Burton.
Well, it depends. I mean, first and foremost, to know that a property is tagged by a veteran, like an exemption, like a veteran exemption, allows you to know that, hey, there's a person there who served for the military, probably used a VA loan, might have a fixed income on that property. Same goes for like disabled, right? Disabled individual probably doesn't have, a great job like someone who isn't, right? Not to say that they couldn't. I'm not trying to offend anybody or not, but these can be some telltale signs that someone there may be undergoing a certain situation or have served for the country of some nature. Now, regardless of it being a disabled person or a veteran or someone on welfare or a widow or it's a school, I'm a firm believer every property can be an opportunity. So whether you identify a welfare, you still have to a welfare property, you still have to identify some sort of criteria that you need, right? Again, if you're wholesaling, needs to be off market, needs to have equity. And then you can look for the welfare tax exemption properties, no problem, because that's your motivation. You have you have equity, you're not on market, and your motivation is that, hey, you're utilizing welfare, or you're a veteran and maybe you want to stop paying that mortgage. So it's just an easy way to know automatically the type of owner that's in that property. For the longest time, you've been going blindly. You don't know the type of owner unless you call the owner and then you figure out, hey, they're they're in the older age group, or they served for the country, or this person seems to be disabled, or hey, this person owns a hospital, or it's a religious building, or whatever it may be. So that's important because for two reasons, it can alter your strategy, but it also can be a telltale sign of some sort of motivation on the back end.
Mm-hmm. And look, guys, I want to give y'all a quick little story because I think that this one piece is so beautiful, man. And this is something that could have streamlined a process for me heavily. Now that you could just pull a list that is like that. The first subject to that I ever bought, my good friend Angela Longoria. Shout out to Angela here in San Antonio. She coached me through my first subject to at the beginning of 2017. And the property was owned by a guy who was a senior citizen. He was also a retired veteran. It was my friend Vince's house, first of all. And he had an exemption as well because that property was his homestead. It was also on the veteran exemption. And he was also a senior citizen. So these are three categories. On top of that, the mother, after the father had passed away, my friend Vince's daddy passed away, sad to say, but he served his country and he lived a very long life. But when I first met the mom, she had refinanced the house to a point where there wasn't that much equity in that property. I believe there was like 30,000 equity, like in that property tops, $30,000 worth of equity. So The only strategy that I saw that could fit that criteria, guys, was to take over payments on that property. The mortgage itself was about $750. I bought it subject to. We put about $15,000 into the house. My boy Lewis helped me rehab the property. And after it was all said and done, a house down the street ended up selling that brought the value of the property up higher, and we were able to force a little bit more equity in there. But that's still a property that I own today on the Great Northwest, and that was the first subject to that I ever bought that was on these exemptions. For all my people that are watching this right now, guys, this is a go-to list. Like this one right here, it could be the subject to holy grail or even any other strategy. And again, you know, when you see these things, these are problem identifying. This is how you identify a problem in a property. You, being the wholesaler, real estate investor, have to be the one to provide this type of person with a solution. Okay. So just wanted to throw that little bit of gold out there, Burton. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry, brother.
No, no, no. I love your explanation. And no, you named it. I always am an advocate that, in the past we were building from a list. You would go to the county and you had to get a list. You had to get the pre-foreclosure list. You had to get the high equity list. That's why we've created our system to do this. You don't have to choose a list anymore, right? Remember back in the 80s and 90s before technology, we were forced to choose a list, like a pre-foreclosure list, and then we had to only deal with 2,900 records. Sure, we probably called an agent, made sure they were off market. Sure, we tried to hope that they had some sort of equity, but this didn't exist back then. And I appreciate you bringing that up, Q, because I'm a firm believer that with technology, it's your best friend. Don't search for a list. I mean, I still encourage you to do that, but remember, we kept our filters open for you, so you can do exactly what Q just mentioned. You can go into the ownership, look for a certain tax exemption, look for whether it has not only a certain tax exemption, but it has maybe one mortgage on it as well. And then it has a certain equity amount or loan to value ratio. So I really appreciate that you mentioned that, building problems, and that's what you can do in our platform. Now, along with the tax exemption in the ownership info as well, we added the ability, and this is going to be expanded on more, so look out for this, but we now can identify a homeowner that has owned more than one property. And that's big because now when I'm looking for a cash buyer, let's say a buyer this year, right? Someone who's bought a property in cash in January 1st or up until today's date, great. But I don't just need any buyer. How about one who owns like 5 properties or more? Now I'm looking for the serious cash buyers, right? Because there are some people that just buy properties once and that's it. But now we can identify property owners that have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or more properties under their name. And a cool thing about it, and again, we're going to be expanding it, but when you click on properties that fall into that category, you'll be able to see the cash tail. And we're going to be introducing a new tab very soon that will also identify the properties that we're referring to. But this is a great component because what it's telling me is that this person that bought it in cash for 560 mortgage or Morgan Picks 2 LLC, they own more than 5 properties under their belt. So rather than, again, especially out here in Los Angeles, where you get a lot of people buying properties in cash because they don't want to get a 30-year note, totally understandable. I can now separate those guys, those cash transactions, and look for the ones that are buying 4, 5, 6 properties, and they have bought 4 or 5 properties. So that filter is right over here. It's the numbers of property owned. And I think that's big for both buyers and sellers, right? For example, I'm looking for aggressive buyers who have 5 properties. What about individual buyers who have 5 properties, right? Those are people I really want to talk to. Let's go on your yacht. Let's go on a plane trip, right? These are really solid buyers. But on the opposite spectrum, hey, maybe I can, instead of looking for a buyer, why don't I look for someone who has a lien who also has 5 properties, right? Because now when we call them, hey, one of your properties has a lien, maybe they're like, it's just one of my other you can go ahead and have it as long as you give me the right price. I believe someone who has multiple properties may have a higher probability of wanting to let go of one of their properties, especially if it's giving them trouble, right? So if it has a high tax lien, it has a utility lien on it, it's in pre-foreclosure, and this is their 5th, 6th, 7th property, they probably might just want to let it go, right? Versus someone who just owns that property and they live there and they're going to try everything in their power to keep that property, right? So that one is a big one. we're going to be able to, again, help you identify whether the buyer or the owner has more than one property under their name. And
Yo,
then,
I'm sorry, but that's just wild. Are you guys getting this? Like, this is value, man. Holy crap, bro. Yo, this man right here just showed you guys how to build a cash buyers list. Not only that, but how to build a serious cash buyers list. I bet y'all didn't know this, but yo, first off, let me give some credit where credit's due. Does Propstream skip trace LLCs?
right now we're working on that, but the answer is no, not at the moment, because that's pretty much what it is designed to do. These guys are creating LLCs, trusts, and corporations, so you don't know who they are, right? However,
Yeah.
there is a means of getting that information through public records. It's just the steps to get it takes a little bit longer. So we are working on it, but the answer right now at this very moment, we do not skip trace LLCs or corporations or trusts.
Guys, this is a nugget for everybody that's watching this. I want to give this to you guys. If you go ahead and you export this LLC list of cash buyers, you can upload it to Datafleet right now and skip trace a cash buyers list. Use promo code ground zero in all caps and it'll knock 30% off of your order. Okay.
There
So,
you
yo,
go.
that is a fire
I
list.
love
Look,
that.
I'm gonna download that list today, bro. You know what? I'm gonna go live and I'm gonna show people how to find a buyer's list. This is dope, bro. This is dope.
Definitely. And again, I hope you guys find value in that, and make sure to use it for both ends. It could be, again, find me the cash buyers that have more than 5 properties, even flippers. Find me the people that are flipping properties, buying them and selling them within 2 years, but they also own 5 properties or more. Here are your aggressive corporate flippers or your aggressive individual flippers who have more than 5 properties. Someone like you, right? They have 5 properties they're working on, or they own 5 properties in their portfolio or more, and these are the properties that they're also working on. So when I look at these individuals, Miguel, he has more than 5 properties under his belt. So we can see his agent information, we can see his information and the property that he's living in as well. So
You
these are
can
just some
even
of the
add
updates.
a seniors list and compare it to the buyers list. If you find an investor who's over 65 years old right now that still owns a bunch of properties, there is a huge chance
Whoa.
that that person could want to liquidate their entire portfolio.
No,
Believe me.
you just blew my mind right now because I didn't even think about that. But no, you're absolutely right. We can do Las Vegas senior owners, and they have 5 properties or more. And you nailed it, man. Like, this would be the list that would probably want to liquidate all their properties.
Mhm.
That's gold nuggets. Everyone should be logging off right now to just start building that list. But no, these are the updates that we subtly implemented into our system. And remember, guys, more to come, right? But I believe that's it. Oh yeah, one other one is numbers of stories. I know in some markets, especially when you're trying to find properties, you don't want to deal with 2-story, 3-story properties. So we did include that now. So now you can go through all of Las Vegas and only look for properties that have 1 story or fewer. And these would be your 2,700. So that's a new one there that was added. And I believe that concludes all the filter updates. I'm just trying to double check, and I think we've covered it all. Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much it there. But let's jump over to the mobile app, unless you had any other questions regarding these new filters.
Can we? Can we jump to the mobile app?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I have
I
it
didn't
set
even know
up.
that we could do that. I mean, you gonna bust out your phone and like show it, or
No,
how?
no, no. I have this technology, man. Work with it. Don't fight against
Let's
it.
go.
Right.
I'm
So
over
hold
here
on.
acting like a pilgrim. Like,
Yeah,
are we gonna light up? Are we gonna light up a candle and show off Propstream?
there, you're right. So here's Propstream right here, the mobile app. Again, it came out about a month and a half ago. It's just Propstream on the go. You're able to search properties, so you can type in an address and get to the details of the property. And what makes our app different from the rest is just the details, right? It is a driving for dollars app. I mean, there are features in there that you can do that. So with the Propstream app, though, what separates us is that the details are there with you, right? The same property details that you would find on our mobile app, on our mobile, let's search the same address here. So this property here in Miami, it's the same details. The same details that you've grown to know and love are now just right on over to our mobile app, right? So the pre-foreclosure details, the lien, that's all right here. photos, right? These photos up here, just tap on the screen. Those are the same photos that you're going to see. So what separated our app is just, again, the data is now on the go, but we also allow you to run comps. Cool thing with our comps is the photos are included. So as you filter for public records or MLS comps, depending on your market, you can tap on your results and see the photos of the comps. So the cool thing is that now when you're talking to the owner and they're trying to ask for a ridiculous price, right? And there's mold growing all over the roof, and they want that $500,000, you can show them what a $500,000 property looks like and explain to them why you can't give them that price,
Oh,
right? So
that's a good idea. Damn it.
just the fact that, again, you have the data, you know the motivation, and if I was visiting this property, I can confidently talk about that pre-foreclosure data, right? Now if they're going to call me out, I'm not in pre-foreclosure, well, let me buy the document and let's go look at the document that has your name on it, right? So the idea with our mobile app is sometimes you're not going to be able to bring your laptop. Sometimes you might forget your report. That's fine. You got your phone. Let's take that data with you. If they want an offer, let's run comps for them. But let's also look at the opportunity. What are their mortgages? What are the liens against the property? Like, how much do we need to cover in order to take that property? So this could be a property that we are visiting and we're about to talk to the owner. And so here's the data we can talk upon. Or this is a property we just pulled up. We're driving for dollars. We typed in the address. We're looking at the details. It's motivated because we see the pre-foreclosure records. We can now run comps. We can now look at the opportunity that has equity. Now we can skip trace the property. Now we can send postcards. What we didn't want you to do is go in there blindly, right? Because a lot of people weren't talking about that. When you go driving for dollars and you see an abandoned property and you send a postcard, the one question that wasn't asked is, why is that property still abandoned, right? And the reason is because it probably had negative equity. So you saw an abandoned property, you sent a postcard because you thought it was a lead. You then spoke to the owner and you searched the address and you found out there's no equity for you to even deal with it. So on to the next property, right? You just wasted marketing, you wasted someone's time. This changes because now when I'm using geolocate, right, and I'm showing where I'm at, I can now pull up to a parcel next to me, tap on that parcel, look at the details. Is this person motivated? What are the comps in this market? Is there equity? A little bit. Yeah, it's still good enough. Let's now skip trace it. Let's now send the postcard. So you're now making a more conscious decision on whether it's even worth your time or not. There's also documents you can purchase, and you can even get directions to that property. So this is just the Propstream app that comes with your subscription. But the big thing about the Propstream app, besides the details, is the drive feature. We know you're going to drive for dollars, so we got you covered. So we're going to give you two ways to go about this. The first way is just drive. Here, you're just freestyling. Go do what you normally do. Just drive, find your abandoned properties, tap on the parcel. You can go into the details and you can add it. Now, as you're driving, we're going to record your drive. And when you hit end, you can save your drive. Now, if you save your drive, we'll store it in the More section under Mobile Activity Drive Log. This is going to show you all the driving sessions that you've performed, so you don't have to repeat the same route again, right? So lunch and leads, I went that direction, right? On my first drive around, I did this route right over here. Now, not only are we going to show you your route, but we're going to show your distance, how long you took. And you see those little green houses? If you zoom in on them and tap them, that's the property that you added at that moment, at that time. So you're not forgetting what you did 4 months ago, 3 months ago. Okay. And that's just the first one. That's just the just drive. That's what you normally do. And we got you covered there. The new way of driving is what we call driving for a purpose. And that's the set filters and drive.
D for P, guys. D for P. Drive for purpose. Let's go.
So here's what's been happening when you drive for dollars. Let's face the reality. When you're driving for dollars, what are you doing? You're looking for a physically abandoned property, right? But when you go to Propstream and you build a list, you're not building a you're building a tax lien list, a pre-foreclosure list, a high equity list, right? What's the difference? Those properties aren't physically distressed sometimes. So that was the gap that driving for dollars was missing, is that there were properties that you were driving by that were leads, right? My best analogy is if you had 10 properties on a block and the first property and number 10 were the physically distressed properties, then if you had a driving for dollar app, then those are the only two postcards that are being sent. Meanwhile, the ones in between you ignored because they were physically perfect on the outside. But when you look at the data, maybe number 4 and number 6 were going through a divorce. Maybe number 5 had a delinquency, right? Maybe number 3 was on the market for 6 months and it failed. That's what you guys were overlooking. And that's why the set filters in Drive has been revolutionary, because now I'm not just looking for a physically abandoned property. What I'm going to do is I'm going to search a 5-mile radius around where I'm standing right now, and I'm going to use the same filters that are in Propstream. Want a non-owner occupied property, occupancy status, any, what list do you want it to go through? Any of our 15 categories, right? So you choose a list, and then you apply your characteristics, your MLS status, on, off market, failed, whatever it is, ownership info, equity amount, same filters, except you're not searching a market, you're searching a radius around you. So whether you're in Vegas, Miami, LA, these are the things that you can search around you. Now, when you hit apply, here's what happens. It says, hey, Burton, in your 5-mile radius, here are the properties that meet that criteria.
Oh my
Now I'm
God,
driving for a purpose. I'm no longer just going for physically distressed properties. And look at number 1, perfect example. If I tap on number 1, would you have considered that property a driving for a dollar or a physically distressed property? No. Trust me when I say this, you would have driven right by it. But why is it a lead? Because I said I wanted a lien, right? And look what this property is going through. It's going through a $3,100 lien. Why haven't you paid that yet? That $3,100 lien, if you don't resolve that, the interest is going to keep climbing, the penalties are going to keep climbing, and eventually it's going to get foreclosed on. And your beautiful home that we have probably been driving by this entire time is going to be in the pre-foreclosure list, and we could have caught it a long time ago. That is the set filters in Drive. That is what turned the whole driving for dollars game upside down, because the data, right? Again, it could be a lien list, a delinquency list, it could be a failed listing list. So on top of looking for physically distressed properties, you should also be looking for properties that you normally look for when you're building a list in Propstream. And that's our mobile for our mobile application for you, Q.
that is so fire, guys. Look, that revolutionizes the driving for dollars game, because now you're driving for purpose. That is going to be the tag for everybody here that is watching this. I want to see that D for P in the comment section right now, man, because that was fire, bro. Guys, so let's go ahead and back up a little bit, go all the way to the beginning. Look, this is what we went over in this whole video. I want y'all to be able to rewind this and rewatch it, but we literally just got done breaking down the seniors list category that just got added to the system. And then we went over the exemptions and how powerful that is, and how you can play with your data to stack those indicators together to create high probability leads that are wanting to possibly sell their property, because that's what we're looking for. And then we went through driving for purpose, which is the new thing that is involved with the Propstream app. Does it cost money, bro, to have the Propstream app if I have a Propstream subscription?
No, it's actually included with your Propstream subscription. So once you get the Propstream trial period, even during the trial, once you have the trial period or you're a full subscriber, just go to the App Store, the Google Play Store, and just download it and log right in.
That is fire, guys. If you already have the Propstream app, go into your app store right now, download the app. Yo, start driving for purpose and making this business happen for you guys. Burton, dude, this was so fire, man. I really appreciate it. These new Propstream updates that just rolled out is going to revolutionize the game. I guarantee it, man. So I can't thank you enough for always taking time out of your day to school us on some data game.
Most definitely. And I'm sure I'll be back very soon. Again, we're crunching on the data. We still have some new things that we're working on. Some of the things you just saw kind of lightly we tapped into, but no, I'm sure I'll be back very soon to shed light on some of the newer updates to help you guys find some unique leads.
Be excited, guys. Remember, if you're wanting to get Propstream, I'll drop the link in the comment section. I promise you, it's the best $100 a month you'll ever spend in your life. We've been paying that subscription for the last 2 years, and these guys just continue to revolutionize the data industry. So, I back this product 100%, man. All right. I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Don't forget to drop your questions in the comment section, and we'll go ahead and go in there. Burton, is it cool if you go in there with me and kind of answer some questions if they have any questions?
Absolutely. And if we can't get to it in time, guys, make sure to reach out to our team, support@propstream.com. You can reach out to me on Facebook. But yeah, we're definitely here, and we're going to go through these questions of yours and get them resolved for you guys as soon as possible.
Alrighty, guys. I'll go ahead and I'll talk to y'all later. This video is remaining in the group, okay? So peace out, everybody.